The road to the happy ending of Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is the most esoteric thing. I mean, perhaps not by old games standards, but as far as any new game that I've seen, this is the biggest set of secrets that I've seen in a long time. Although I'm not sure if you would call them secrets, even though they are very well hidden because they're kind of necessary in getting the happy ending. This isn't really part of it, but if you double-click the puppet drawing in the hallway on camera 8, you get the Happiest Day minigame, which shows a child at the end of a birthday party having his saddest day. So, it is our job to change that. On camera 8, double-click the Balloon Boy poster and you get Balloon Boy's Air Adventure, which is the most exciting game. 10 out of 10. I think it's going to win the PC Master Race with its 1080 HD graphics and real-time shading, and yeah, there's just a hidden door there. Just a hidden door there. And now we fall like a feather at a snail's pace into this land of creepy crying balloon boys and a grayscale Mexican cloth in the background. And look at this! The one remaining balloon on our counter is this Rainbow Special balloon. And for some reason this is crucial to helping some kid ease his spirit. But what we're doing basically, the idea of this whole, I guess you could call it a side quest, is we're trying to put the spirits of the dead children who are trapped inside the animatronics, we're trying to put their spirits to rest. And magically these mini-games and completing them in a certain way does that. I was trying to see if in this minigame there was something behind that curtain. There is not. It is just the Pirate Cove. I think this building is the same one from the first game. So this room on the map in the sort of bridgeway mini-games between nights is always significant in telling you some kind of hint as to what you're supposed to do on the next night. What I did on the first night isn't actually necessary to do in the first night. You can do it on the second night too, but I decided to do it on the first night because it just seemed appropriate for whatever reason. So then, if you click the buttons in the order that you saw on camera 7 on the arcade machine, then you get Mangle's Quest, not to be confused with Peasant's Quest, in which you play as Mangle, who has a floating purple shadow that follows him/her as he/she jumps. I'm not really sure what that's about. And then at the bottom of the screen there is Fat Boy Who Raids the Cookie Factory. I think that's the name of some old Flash game. I'm not really positive about that. It's something that I played years and years ago and don't remember anymore. I don't know what the heck that thing is that you collect. Whatever it is on Mangle's back, it just looks like a weird sock puppet wrench. And yay, another hidden door. And this time the grayscale Mexican cloth is red. And there's just this big black puppet statue that is crying. Just two steady waterfalls. These balloons would not show up unless you already did the Balloon Boy minigame, which you can, as I said, do on night 2. If you want to. These wouldn't appear unless you got that special Happy Rainbow balloon, which you can only do once in a blue moon. There was a blue moon on the screen. It was an easy joke to make. I'm sorry. It was a terrible joke. Also on night 2, if you go back to the Balloon Boys minigame, float down, oh hey balloons. It's a good thing that these balloons are here to guide my path, and I'm glad they are stable enough for a full animatronic child to stand on. Gotta love how they're flat on the top too. As a result of doing the other minigame, we can now give this child cake. It's a multiple-step process just to feed that one child cake and make him happy. Or at least make him not terribly crying sad. On the night in which we play as Bonnie in the minigame, if we sluggishly make our way towards the special hint screen, it has 4 cupcakes. And those follow suit with the cupcakes in the other games that are just there, staring at you with their 2 eyes. Because for whatever reason, the cupcakes have eyes. And this is to hint that on the 3rd night, there are 4 cupcakes on the map for you to click on. Again, I'm really not sure how you're supposed to figure all this out. This is hinted at better than other secrets a little bit later on. But the muffin cupcakes are on screens 2, 3, 4, and 6, and then you play as Chica, who has a gun. It's not really a gun, it's a tray, but I like to think of it as a gun. Although it can no longer be a gun because it has a cupcake on it. And it seems like this is Toy Chica instead of the normal Chica that I know and love and hate. So I'm not really sure what that's about or what kind of significance that is. All of these children seem to be from different time periods. And I think that they were all assaulted by the purple guy, whose identity is still kind of unknown. I think that purple guy is probably not actually purple. By the way, this is what happens if you fall in that point. That's something I discovered. I don't think the purple guy is actually a purple guy. I think that that's just the representation of an adult whose identity is unknown. It's just convenient. But if he is actually a purple guy, well, I want to know what that looks like. That would be odd. Chica's derpy teeth, still present in these Atari graphics. The hint here is 395248. Now what I thought this meant, whenever I played the game and I tried to figure out what this hint meant for myself, I thought that maybe you had to go into the cameras and click on the numbers of the cameras in that order. Just, you know, click on camera 3, then 9, then 5, then 2, then 4, then 8. And then I tried it again, double-clicking them, but neither of those things worked. It turns out there's a panel on the wall made up of the wall tiles, and you have to click them like this. What? And if it wasn't bad enough that it pretty much involves blind, random chance finding that set of wall tiles, well, you have this minigame that is entirely made up of wall glitches, and it's also very unclear. Although I guess you can't really call them glitches because, even though they're meant to look very buggy, they are intentionally programmed into the game for a goal. So, yeah. We just fell from the top left room of 9 identical rooms in a 3x3 grid that all have Golden Bonnie, who I guess later becomes Springtrap in them. Speedrunning tactic. No, not really, but that room has 2 children in it instead of 3. Where could the 3rd one have gone? That's the one we're trying to find, I assume. It might not be the same one, but maybe it is. And this might be reading too much into things, but maybe would these 9 rooms represent, like, 9 potential Family Fazbear locations? Because it seems like Golden Freddy and Golden Bonnie were perhaps the original characters before Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, possibly. I think Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is like a big chain, and only a few of the restaurants are important, but I could be wrong. So we find the socially uncomfortable child and give him a cake. An enormous freaking cake. That's like double the size of most wedding cakes. Continuing to the minigame between nights 4 and 5. I like how Foxy starts at Pirate Cove, and it's a little bit different. There's Shadow Bonnie. I still don't know what Shadow Bonnie is. I've been racking my brain with this game's story, trying to figure it out for the past, I would say, half hour, maybe. Just non-stop, thinking about it very hard. And the role that Shadow Bonnie plays is really hard to figure out. But if you click on this very difficult to see Shadow Bonnie in the office, you get the Shadow Bonnie minigame. which is also rather glitchy, but intentionally so. And this minigame almost seems harder to figure out than the Golden Freddy one, because you press D to switch around the rooms, W, A, and S move you around otherwise. You can just kind of hover, and then this is the way that you get through the room, to my knowledge. You're just supposed to go through the left wall by switching through the rooms rapidly. As far as I could tell, that's the only way to do it. I tried going through the wall that you would normally be able to go through in Balloon Boy's minigame, but that didn't work for me. It seemed to work for Markiplier, but it didn't work for me. And then after all of that is done, you must return to this, or if you haven't already done this, go to the puppet minigame one more time, and then everyone is put to rest. The spirits no longer inhabit the masks, the animatronics. You get a star on the menu for doing this, but the happy ending is not truly over until you go to all the trouble to beat Night 5 again. Beginning the final minigame, in which you play as the child, the crying child, the final crying child. I wanted to see if there was anything else in the hint room, but since there is nothing more to be hinted at, there is nothing more in the hint room. This scene is the same as before. I don't know if those blue things do anything. They seem like maybe they could be beds or tablets or maybe tubes in which you put people to preserve them. I don't know. But yes. You scare the purple guy away. He runs into the suit. This could be interpreted as him laughing or him trying to breathe, and thus setting off the spring trap. And apparently, the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 trailer in which you see the spring trap twitching is that scene. And here are the masks, no longer with lights in their eyes, symbolizing that the children have gone to a better place, and that they are no longer traumatized from what happened in their life. Though I feel like this would be a fitting end for the series, and I don't know where it could possibly go after this, there are still a number of unanswered questions, like what the motivation of the purple guy was, what role the puppet plays, what role Shadow Bonnie plays, why the kids were distressed in the first place, what happened at the first Freddy Fazbear location that is significant to the story, that the phone guy refers to as Fredbear's Family Diner in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. There is still room for a fourth game to hopefully put an end to all those questions. There might be a fourth game, there might not be. I wouldn't object to there being one, depending on how it was done. But if there aren't any more, I consider this a satisfying conclusion. Thank you all for joining me on this journey, and I will see you in whatever we do next.